So it just got to a point where it was too much. I think it was 6 months later where I really started evaluating. What's up, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of Fire Lane Podcast. It has been a very, very long time since the last time that we recorded or uploaded any episode. And as you can see, there are some changes to our studio. But we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into all the changes, what's been going on in our lives, since it's been about almost 2 years, I want to say, since we last recorded and uploaded something. So if you are an old listener or a veteran listener or someone who's been following us since the very first episodes or for our entire life, I don't know. I just want to say thank you and welcome back. I appreciate you for coming back and having the patience to wait for us to start recording again. And we're going to get into all the stuff that happened to us and the changes we had to make and how our relationship is going, how our kids are doing, how everything's going with our life. We're going to get into all that good stuff. And if you're new, welcome. And I hope and pray that whatever content we put out there, just know that it's going to have the intention of positivity and adding to your life, and hopefully inspiration or motivation that we can add into your life. And just hope and pray that you appreciate or that you take something from whatever we say. Just know that we are human. We make mistakes. We're going to do and all this kinds of stuff where I'm going to seem lost or whatever. But I just hope and pray that you have the patience and the grace with me to stick around, see how I work through things and how I improve as time passes by. And if you want to get to know more about me and my wife, just go ahead and listen to the other old episodes. We did probably over a year or so. I don't know how many though, of episodes where it's just me and my wife talking about life stuff. So if you want to get to know more, a little deeper dive of how we were back then, go ahead and listen to those. And then stick around for the rest of whatever we have going on in the future. Nonetheless, though, just to get right into things. So there's been a lot. 2020, 2021, a lot has happened to all of us, including my wife and I, including to our children, including you. A lot of learning, a lot of hurting, a lot of positive stuff, a lot of things that we're grateful for, a lot of things that we wish we didn't have to go through. But life happens to everyone, so we just had to roll with the punches and keep on going as much as we could. But let's get into that. What happens in the last time that we recorded? So you guys know that we were pregnant. The last time we recorded, my wife was pregnant. That's how long it's been. But that baby now is over 1.5 years, if you can't believe that. But yeah, our baby Analia was born. I think maybe a month before that, we had posted our last recording, our last episode. So what happened after that, unfortunately, I got fired from my job. Literally the day before my daughter Analia was born. So I had started my paternity leave on a Tuesday. That was my last day, I believe. And then on Wednesday, that was my first day of being off for 2 weeks, for the next 2 weeks. So I was fine and dandy. I was like, awesome. I'm not gonna be working for the next 2 weeks. I'm just gonna get to enjoy my spending time with my wife, especially during COVID time. Me being there at the hospital was very, very important for me. So I had to make sure that everything was good with work. So I got that squared away weeks before, and yes, it started Wednesday. It started. I got a call or a message from my manager saying like, hey, we're having a meeting. It's mandatory for everyone. Go ahead and come in. You just have to go in and just hear what they have to say. And unfortunately, the message that was being portrayed is like, hey, unfortunately, because of COVID, we don't see this the company foregoing any further during this time, unfortunately. So we're going to have to let everyone go. So you can just imagine in that moment, having that news broken to me. I was alone in my office, and just hearing that news, knowing what's coming next, my daughter being born, my wife needing me there for her recovery, but also to help with the baby and everything. Like a lot of stuff was going through my mind, and to be quite honest with you all, when I told my wife, I held it back, but I truly was wanting to cry. Um, but anyway, so that happened. Our baby was born the next day, and I had a meeting with a CEO. And luckily, they understood my situation. They were giving everyone severance pay, but they understood, like, hey, I had a newborn baby. I had already set up paternity leave for 2 weeks, and they were gracious enough, and I'm so grateful that they added another 3 weeks to the 5 week severance pay. So for 8 weeks, I kept having an income, which is I'm so eternally grateful for, because it allowed me to not worry income wise and financially about where I'm going to get money and stuff like that. Some things did have to change, unfortunately, though. We did have to move further away from family. So we're not around grandma's house around the corner anymore. We are about 30 minutes away. But even that, I'm so grateful for it, because we're now in a place where we don't have to worry about finances and stuff like that. But to keep on continuing the story, yeah, daughter was born. We were able to focus on her and my wife's recovery for a bit, and we had to move all the way out here. So during that time of my daughter being born and then having to move, because I had no longer had a job, we had to make some changes, drastic changes. So we decided to move. We moved out. It's a great place. We love it. We enjoy the heck out of it. And this is kind of like building our dream as to what we want in a house that we will own. And that's space, that's privacy, that's land. So we're grateful for that. And yeah, during the time afterwards, of course, it came to a time, because 8 weeks go by like this. Now had to start like, okay, now I have to find a job. And I'm those type of people who don't want to start from zero again. I want to go to the next level. And the reason that I'm saying that is because the next level for my career profession that I pictured in my head I wanted was being a supervisor, specifically a supervisor in a call center environment, because that's the field that I was in. Just because back then I thought, okay, I'm going to help people through this area, because that's what I like doing. I like to help people. I like to lead people. And the next step was supervisor. So for the past 4 or 5 years, I worked to this position. I got fired, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to move back. I want to move forward. So yeah, I was looking gratefully, I was able to find that supervisor position, which fast forward 6 months, that was not the type of work that I thought it was going to be, specifically for where I was at. Not saying that all supervisor positions will be the same, but specifically where I was working as a supervisor. So I got the job. Everything was good for the first few months, and then it started kind of getting way too much for me to handle during the time frame that I was given, which is my schedule, and have a balance between all that stuff and being a husband and being a father and having this and growing that and being better and even taking care of myself. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people who, especially when it comes to jobs, I work hard. I work my butt off, and my wife knows that. And it's kind of like a gift and a curse. It's a gift because that's what employers want: someone who's hardworking, who will make work a priority and stuff. But then it's also a curse because it takes away from family. It takes away from my wife. It took away from myself too. And fast forward 5 months of me being in the job, my wallet was being filled. I thought I was doing what I wanted to do, but then I saw the world around me and even within me, and I just saw, man, like, this job, or what I'm doing specifically, what they're asking me to do, is taking way too much of my mental space, of my physical space, and of my relationship space with everyone outside. And what I mean by mental, like, it was draining the heck out of me. I clocked out physically, but I didn't clock out mentally. And I'm pretty sure many of you have been in that position where you clock out from work, you look forward to going to your family and spending time with your family the rest of the afternoon, but all you're thinking is, oh, I have to do this tomorrow, I have to do that tomorrow, I didn't get to do this today, I hope I don't get in trouble tomorrow, so I'll make sure to do it as soon as possible, and vice versa, and stuff like that, and etc. So that continued for, I want to say, about 3 months, that thought process where I clocked out, but mentally I was still at work, like figuring out, okay, as soon as I clock in, I'll get this squared away. But if you've ever been in a supervisor position and a lot of stuff is getting thrown at you, where you're trying to balance everything, there's people looking up to you for guidance, but there's also people looking down on you to get things done. And those two people don't know what the heck. don't there's no nothing in common, meaning what they need from me over here is not the same that they need from me over here. So I had to find a balance to do both of those things, but also take care of me at the same time. Take care of the people who are looking down to me to get things done, but people who are looking up to me to also get things done so they could do the work and so this person can do the work. So it just got to a point where it was too much. I think it was 6 months later where I really started evaluating, hey, babe, mentally, I'm not good. Physically, look at me. I haven't done anything when it came to physicality, meaning my physical health. And I'm just not spending enough time with the kids. I'm not spending enough time with you. Even though I'm there physically with you guys, I'm not there mentally. I'm not present. I'm always thinking of and worrying about work, to the point where we took a vacation to Florida, to Orlando. We were looking forward to it. I mean, especially me, because mentally I was like, okay, I need a break from work. So even then, I was still thinking about, okay, even though I'm off for 5 days, when I come back, I'm going to have to deal with whatever I didn't deal with for 5 days. So I was worried about that while I was on vacation with my kids and family. So I just knew, like, okay, something has to give, something has to change, and it has to be within me, because I can't change an entire company. I can't change my managers. I can't change the people that I was in charge of. I have to change me. So I did that. I tried everything that I could. I tried calming down. I tried working out. I tried meditating. I tried praying. And all those things were working at the beginning. And I continued those things even after I left. But when it came to like the stuff that was being piled on top of me, it wasn't giving either. So that's where like, okay, I'm giving what I need to give, but I'm still receiving way more than what I can handle right now. So it came to a point like, hey, babe, to be honest, I've had two. I don't know if they're panic attacks or anxiety attacks. I just remember feeling my heart palpitating really quick and a sense of dread. I think I started like cold sweats, a sense of dread, a sense of worry, a sense of fear, like what's going to happen? When is it going to happen? And what can I do to stop it? And I knew at that point, even before, like, okay, it's not good. It's not good for me to be around this environment, especially being a work from home job. I was working at home and I was bringing that environment to the rest of the house. I remember the time that I went to bed, I didn't even look forward to going to sleep, because I knew that when I woke up, it was going back to work. So I didn't want to go to sleep. I didn't want to wake up, and I didn't want to go to work. So, yeah, I had a very honest conversation with my wife. Like, hey, babe, I've noticed that I'm only giving you my leftovers. I'm giving the kids my leftovers. I'm giving myself the leftovers, and I'm giving my all to work, mentally, physically, everything. And it's getting too much for me. This is what's happening to me. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm doing, and this is what's going on. So we had another conversation, a game plan to, okay, continue doing this and then leave. And that game plan quickly went out of the water because, like I mentioned, stuff at work was just not working out in their end, which and bled over to my end and everyone else's end. I just saw how the whole, from the managers to me to the rest of the team, how it was just bleeding everywhere. And I knew it wasn't because of me, but then again, I didn't help it, if that makes sense. I was trying to help it, but it just got so overwhelming that it bled through me to the rest of everyone else. So I knew something had to give, and if I didn't leave, I don't know what was going to happen. So yeah, I decided to leave in May of 2021, and that took me down a path and a journey that I'm so grateful and I'm so blessed. And my wife would tell you that we're just so grateful that we took that risk of me quitting for a time and not working for a time to lead us down this path where our relationship with each other, with myself, her relationship with herself, our relationship with our kids, the way we're leading, the way we're living, what we want to do in the world, what we want to do for you, what we want to do through this podcast is a lot more clearer, less fuzzy. The dust is off. It's clear what we want to do, what we want to accomplish. And I couldn't have done it without her believing in me. And man, I'm so grateful for the wife that I have, because even in the times which was basically almost all my life, where I didn't feel like I could do this, I didn't feel like I could be this great person, or that I could make this change in the world, or whatever, she saw it in me. She has told me since we met, like, I just see something in you, that you're going to do something great for people. You have this quality, you have that quality, you have this other quality. And you just have to learn to see that for yourself and leverage them in a way where you can live that, you can be that, and you can thrive in that. So I'm just eternally grateful for my wife for taking that risk in me and believing in me. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life showing my gratitude towards her by working hard and living in my purpose, and letting her know, like, hey, that risk that you took in me was not in vain. It was worth it, because now my relationship with myself is better. My relationship with each other and with you is better. My relationship with the kids is way better than it was whenever I was working. Back then, yeah, I was filling up my wallet. Financially, I was taking care of my family, but internally, I wasn't taking care of myself, mentally, physically, or even relationally. But took that out, and now I became the person that they need me to be. Now I have to leverage, of course, the financial part. But we're going to uncover all that as the episodes roll around. We're going to uncover what I went through, the journey that I went through, what I learned, and how I'm applying it every single day in my life, and how I hope and pray that it's helping you as well. But I wanted to first, this episode, be a kind of like a catch up to let you know, like, hey, we're doing great. We're doing awesome. There was some trouble, and I'm pretty sure you went through trouble between 2020 and 2021, and trouble is going to come, challenges are going to come, struggles are going to come for the rest of our life. It might not be a pandemic, it might not be this, it might be whatever, but we just learn to embrace them, grow through them, and just know that everything's going to be okay in the end. But thank you very much again for tuning in. Welcome back. Thank you for the people who have been listening to our podcast since we started, which is back in 2019, I believe. 2019, literally 3 years ago. And if you're new, welcome. I appreciate you for tuning in. I appreciate you for just considering this podcast, and I just hope and pray that it adds value to you. But thank you. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next episode.